I'm speaking with Griffin Dunne. Everyone probably knows him from American Werewolf in London. And also, he had a top bestseller, The Friday Afternoon Club, which was on the New York Times bestseller list. But he's also now talking today about ex-husbands, a very dramatic role that he has taken on as in a movie that's coming out this week, and it will be releasing nationally in the upcoming weeks. What is the secret to longevity in this business, my friend?
Oh, that's such a good question. I don't know that there's a secret. I do know that it's something you got to be grateful for. I went to, I started off in acting schools in the mid '70s, and many of my classmates, I don't see around, from those years, and it's just sort of a miracle that. You can stay in this thing. I think it's from, not turning down opportunities. You're going to have a career that ebbs and flows. Everyone's does. And I think when it's in decline, you kind of don't give up and think, well, it's never going to come back. You sort of take jobs just to keep busy and active, and I think if you stay busy, you create enough energy that brings you back up again. You're to be starring number one on the call sheet, as they say, and carrying an entire movie, playing a character my age. That's unusual stuff. I'm very, and the script that's so good and it's so funny and touching, that doesn't happen every day. So I'm very fortunate, and I think it wouldn't have happened if I didn't, try to stay in the light, even when parts were smaller than I would have liked.
I mean, we're always talking about auditioning, and some actors feel after a while like, oh, I am too good for that. I mean, how do you approach auditioning throughout your whole career?
Well, and I've always been terrible at auditioning, and I'm not even quite sure I remember getting a job based on an audition. But I do audition, and if someone asks me to audition for a script I really loved, or a great director I really admire, wanted to see me audition to do something that he would ask me, because it might be a part that shows something I haven't done before, but he wants to see if I can. I'd be happy to. It's I have a daughter who's a very talented actress named Hannah Dunn, and she, is COVID era actress. So she now has to, as do many, young actors, they don't even get to meet people. They have to do everything on tape, on using equipment they have to pay for out of their pocket, and set up their own little sound stage and get the sound just right. And, at least I was fortunate enough when I was auditioning, whether I got the part or not, I got to meet, shake hands, interact with a director and a casting director. Sadly, that actors don't have that opportunity right now. They've sort of fallen into the ease of just send me your tapes. And who knows how long directors and casting directors watch them. At least when you're in the room, they can't go anywhere. You're going to show them what you got.
You're showing your age, sir. Talking about days gone by. What other changes have you seen in Hollywood over your, storied career?
Well, I mean, gosh, so much. Everything from, I think what was considered funny, in the '70s, early '80s, that you'd see on Saturday Night Live, and it would be a staple of then franchise comedic movies. Don't play well now. You got, there were movies that that you would go to theaters and sit in a movie theater, and you'd stand in line to go see a movie on the first weekend, which I hope will happen with this movie. But movies in movie theaters, are quite rare unless they're like tentpole type movies. Streaming has changed everything. And there's with and there's just much more, gratefully much more sensitivity to issues and diversity and telling stories that are about all sorts of walks of life, as opposed to it was much more marginalized when I was starting out. So this is a work in progress. It's constantly changing.
Talk about telling a story that is pretty contemporary. Divorce rates have been at an all-time high here in the United States, especially in a very low percentage of marriages. So this movie really does strike a chord with contemporary America.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the divorce rate is totally insane, and this deals with it in a very humorous way. I mean, you've got Richard Benjamin, who plays my father well into his 80s, telling me he's going to get a divorce, because he wants to meet chicks, and he dies about a week later, and then I get a divorce, and my son is about to get married. So, it's dealt with a lot of it's dealt with a lot of humor. So yeah, it's a mess out there with.
So, I mean, I know you try not to give nothing away. You want everyone in the theater. How much of you is in this character that you're playing?
Oh, I play a guy who is whose parents are dead. They've been married and divorced, and has grown children. So I hit all three boxes. I didn't have to do much homework to play this part.
How are your children?
I brought a lot to it.
How are your children?
My children are, I have one daughter, she's 34. And a really talented actress. She's doing great.
Sometimes you want your children to follow in your footsteps. Is she following your footsteps, and how much of that do you really encourage her to do?
Oh, I worry very much that she's, that she's, going to not work like I did and everything. But, she's so good. I couldn't be more supportive.
Some actors wish their children will be like doctors or something else because the business is tough.
I thought that too, but she will not be denied.
She will not be denied. You're in an iconic film, American Werewolf in London. How has that been part of your life, and do you still get recognized in the streets for it?
Oh, yes, all the time. It's a big, big hit. I mean, it just, from the moment, it wasn't at the time, but once the VCRs and cassettes came about, it's crazy. It's many generations have grown up as their first horror movie.
So, any last final words for the audience in regards to this movie, Ex-Husbands?
Go see it. I think you'll. It's a movie I think that particularly adult audiences are really hungry for. No capes, not a lot of fireworks, but a lot of humor, a lot of laughs.
Written and directed by Noah Pritzker. How was it working with him?
He's a great guy. He's an old friend of mine.
Oh,
he's really talented.